I'm sporting Camp and Chubby.
Welcome to round 19 of Eat the Buckle, the horror movie battle royale podcast that puts two movies in a weekly head-to-head matchup where the loser will remain in the ring another week and we'll be forced to watch it repeatedly until there is one movie left standing in an effort to determine the worst horror movie ever made. This week we have newcomer Ghoulies III, Ghoulies Go to College from 1999, taking on the four-time returning loser 1971's The Vampire Happening. Joining me, as always, are a couple of legendary Yankers, Josh and Aaron. Gentlemen, before I get before I turn it over to you, I'd like to uh, just say something off the top rope. After last week's contentious episode, I want to let the users, the listeners, and whoever's out there know that much like Metallica before us, we have sought counseling and we've been meeting with a therapist and we've recorded a documentary about it called Some Kind of Podster. And I think it's really helped us out. And I think this week's just going to be nothing but positive vibes. And, we're just going to be a big old love fest this week. What do you think?
Wow. I didn't know that we were going to give that peek behind the curtain, but
Yeah, whatever you say, because apparently you just want to share everything with the world.
I thought after, everyone heard our dirty laundry last week, I figured we should just let them know that we're really working on it. And actually, we're sitting here all in our nice blankets wrapped around us with our cups of tea and kombucha. And we're just, just vibing, just enjoying.
We've all cut our hair, gone as the grungy looking rock star podcasters that once sat in front of these cameras. And now we're clean cut and just really, we're all in it for the money.
We're all living.
My facial hair style right now looks like I'm trying to go for a young Burl Ives look.
I like it.
Just I've been out in public like this, and I'm ready to shave it.
Nah, keep it going, man. Go with it.
It's a weird cut.
Hey, positivity.
No,
Think of what Dr. Schnobel told us.
Dr. Schnobel.
Just the way it goes like straight across your face. It's almost like you were up to here in quicksand.
Yeah. Well, part of that is shadow from the whiteout coming through the window. As we record, there's another snowstorm going on. But yes, this is actually stubble. There you go. It's like a disconnected pudding cup.
Yeah, it's almost like a Riker.
Kinda, but
not enough on the sides.
Not enough on the sides yet. It'll be there next week.
I like it.
I think you all look great, and I'm just pleased as punch to be here with you talking about two wonderful movies. We're all enjoying our doctored ordered sobriety, and our agents are making us go to bed at 9 p.m. like James Hetfield. Have you ever seen that? What Kind of Monster?
Is that real?
Yeah.
I'm not a big Metallica fan, but that's not real.
Yeah. Oh, I've watched not the whole thing because I don't know who could sit through the whole thing and just watch these. And I am a Metallica fan, but watching these people who are just so far up their own asses, like it is a real thing. Like it's really just a documentary about like them getting group therapy and at one point they're like,
so
it's time for James to go to bed. We can't practice.
They're literally like so full of shit from that documentary that you would think that they truly believe the whole world revolves around Metallica. Like their success or failures will either pull the world together or blow it apart.
I mean, yeah. I guess to get that successful, you end up having to have that mentality, which is why the three of us are sitting here doing a podcast instead of being rich and famous. But yeah, it's wild once you get to a certain level how disconnected you are from everything.
Yeah. I mean, I couldn't imagine having that level of fame or just doing what they have done just in one single night that they do, however many times a night on tour. Like just doing that once would be like, I don't know how I would react to that.
This
Like
is the,
my brain would melt.
this is the part of the podcast where, as my wife listens to this later this week, she goes, "Oh yeah, you should have said about the time my dad almost got punched out by James Hetfield's bodyguard at Disney World."
Wait, hold on. First of all, will she be okay with this story? And is this a real story?
Well, the best thing about her family is I've adapted to this. Like, instead of just giving the facts, it's a way better to embellish and have a little bit more flourish to it. So probably what really happened, at least, from them and now on top of me, because it's been years since this happened. Uh, James Hetfield, I think it was James Hetfield and just maybe one kid, or by himself with a bodyguard.
With his child bride.
We're on. No, there was no wife that I recall from the story. We're on the Aerosmith ride in MGM, and
Boy.
my father-in-law saw him ride the ride and get off, and then like ran up to him, was like wanted like to shake his hand or something, and the bodyguard got in the way and was just like, "Enjoy your day," and that was his brush with fame. Which again,
I I look forward to the email that
there
we'll
will be.
get for next episode with the correcting the record or
Yeah.
complimenting your accuracy.
There won't be a Sandy Duncan dough on that one. It'll just be he saw him from 30 feet away and he didn't say anything to him.
I'm
Yeah.
just picturing this beautiful image in my head of James Hetfield being super pumped to go on the Aerosmith ride.
Must be this tall to get on ya.
Like, what if he's just like the biggest Aerosmith fan? He's got that arcade game Revolution X at home and like
Oh yeah.
stands in front of it for hours a day playing.
How do you get so famous that you get a fucking roller coaster built after you?
Yeah.
Jesus.
You get Steven Tyler famous. That's how famous.
Yeah.
We should work on what an Eat the Buckle, the podcast, The Ride would look like.
It would be a cardboard refrigerator box at the top of a large flight of stairs is what it would be, and you just slide down and hope for the best. And sometimes it's EQ'd out properly, and other times it sounds like blown speakers.
Oh God. Do you guys want to get into these movies?
Oh, why not?
All right. The first movie up is Ghoulies 3, Ghoulies Go to College. This was released September 18th, 1991. I didn't see a budget for it. It was straight to video, so no box office to speak of either. This was written by Luca Berkovicki, Jeffrey Levy, and Brent Olson, directed by John Carl Buechler, starring Evan McKenzie and an unhinged Kevin McCarthy, which we'll get to. Eva LaRue, John R. Johnston, and Hope Marie Carlton. The toilet traveling ghoulies are summoned once again to unleash hell like only they know how during prank week at a nondescript college. Is it the second movie in a row that made me want to pound some Miller Lite? Yep. Will it eat the buckle? Maybe. Let's find out. Gentlemen, off the top rope, what did you think of Ghoulies 3, Ghoulies Go to College?
I was incredibly excited at the very beginning of the movie with the sped up camera angle, kind of going through the neighborhood towards the fraternity.
Mm-hmm.
Is the music that was playing, the way the camera was moving, it kind of felt like a Tales from the Crypt intro, or something you'd see in the Frighteners. And I was like, all right, because I mean, we've seen this movie before as kids, more times than I could count, but I don't recall a whole lot about
I
it.
thought that too, and I thought that it would just be like, all hitting the memory banks
Yeah.
but I remembered nothing of
Nothing.
this movie
No.
once it got into it.
No, and that's I was like,
I
man,
forgot that they could fucking talk.
that's what. Okay, see, that was gonna be my note. Like, I was so excited, and then they get into like your cold open, and when you hear the ghoulies inside the gargoyle toilet and they're talking, and I'm like, oh no.
I had the opposite reaction. I said, hell yeah, they can talk now.
Not only can they talk, but they have the personalities of Larry, Moe, and Curly,
Yeah, yep.
which is nauseating at best.
Oh boy, we're gonna have fun with this.
And I am officially now deeming this Richard Kind week on the podcast, since we've for weeks have talked about him missing the mark or a chance to be Brother Martin in Vampire Happening,
Mhm.
and now he shows up as, was he the cat or rat faced one? I think the rat faced one.
Yeah, kind of did sound like him.
Oh no, it is him.
Oh wait, it is him?
Yes, it is for sure him.
Shut up.
Yes.
I didn't even look up who voiced the ghoulies.
Richard Kind is the cat ghoulie, Jared. Again, do your homework.
I mean, that for the time was a big get.
And
For
the
Ghoulies
I'm
3.
sorry, the rat ghoulie is Bob Bergen, who is the modern day Porky Pig, I believe.
Wow. Richard Kind was in Ghoulies 3.
Amazing.
Gets better and better.
And
Now
I don't
what's-
know how much of a get in 1990 Richard Kind was.
For this movie,
This
I mean,
is before. I mean, he's a very working man's actor, but I think this is before everyone knew him from Mad About You.
yeah, that's
Or
true.
This is before Mad About You.
Mad about
this movie had
Ghoulies.
some star power in it. All right, Richard Kind, Kevin McCarthy. We had some stars.
Yeah.
Kane Hodder was in it.
Oh yeah, I forgot
Yeah.
Kane Hodder was the janitor.
I-
So we get past the cold open, and then instantly we have it pretty much goes from what a scene of the ghoulies being summoned to another scene of the ghoulies being summoned with the Polly Shore stunt double.
yeah.
Wes.
Someone had a real fetish for seeing that dude in some socks. Because
Those
like
dirty
every
ass
time it shows him,
bathroom
he's in his
socks.
boxers and his saggy socks.
Yeah, in that filthy bathroom.
Yeah.
Ugh.
The bathroom. If Charles Band had actually done any of the development on this, on that website of his, you could buy the 3-headed toilet.
I love that toilet.
Yeah.
I want that in my home with working order, completely
I'm amazed
functional.
it's not on like Entertainment Earth or some shit where for $2,000 the 3-headed toilet from Ghoulies.
And from what I remember, I've recently watched Ghoulies 2. It's been a while since I watched the first one, but this is the first time that toilet has been introduced as their like, summoning pot.
Yeah, that was totally a new plot.
Yeah. Same with the addition of them being summoned through a comic book.
Yeah, very Tales from the Cryptish comic book.
Yeah, I wonder if that's what. And before this came out in 1991.
Mm-hmm.
That is insane. This looked like an 84 movie at best. It played like a mid 80s movie, and that's when I was first thinking about it. I was like, oh, this must be like off of the success of Creep Show, but this was a good 6-7 years after Creep Show that they're introducing this comic book in here.
Yeah. It was out on an island all by itself.
It's that late 80s, early 90s. Everyone looks like an asshole. Everything is just video washed out.
Mm-hmm.
Just between the hairstyles, the decorations inside, and just, oh, you know what's cool? The NBC xylophones and the Three Stooges Prats. Yes.
People love
frat
the Three
boys who
Stooges.
would rather pull yanks on each other than get laid.
Yanks. Yeah,
This-
let's get into prank week
Oh
about
my
this.
God, there's so much zaniness going on at this college.
Zaniness.
Prank week is the biggest fucking thing that has ever happened in the world to these college students. And I want to know the logistics about there's two essentially like warring factions on this two frat houses that are, the head to head competitors in this prank week, and they keep talking about like the judges who's just who's
I don't know,
judging
because as
prank
far as I
week.
can tell, the faculty of this college is only one person, and that's Professor Ragnarok.
Yeah, and
Ragnar.
pranks to him were like Smurfs to Gargamel.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to fucking judge prank week. He hates
Yeah,
pranks.
there's Ragnarok and Edna Krabappel. That's the only people that work at the college.
So who's judging these things?
The sororities, maybe?
Who's present for all these pranks they're
No,
pulling?
the sororities hate the pranks.
Yeah, no one likes the pranks except the Yankers.
And they don't even like the pranks. They just do them on
That's
each other.
I need to know more about the logistics of what are you ranking the pranks on? The Yank what's the Yank rank prank scale?
Oh man.
Oh, fuck off.
What are you
know.
determining as a good or bad prank? I'm getting into this. Let's do it.
No.
Ragnar is running a one-man show though. I mean, he is literally the only professor other than his secretary that we see. Like he's the dean of students. He's the only professor. He's the only person working at this college.
Yeah, and his classes have a capacity of 12
Yeah.
students that just happen to be 6 on each side of the Yank teams.
So it's him, it's Krabappel who's the admin, and Kane Hodder who's the janitor, and that's the only 3 employees of this prestigious university.
Well, there was the one guy that Kane took out with his fishing line running through his body in that first little staged thing with the bucket.
Oh yeah,
I think that guy was a professor. Because does he not say "Look out, professor"? And it's some random stranger that apparently dies from the physical contact.
That's what happened. And the last surviving professor, other than Ragnar, died to bucket.
Would that count as a Yank?
I don't think that was a Yank. No.
God, what a bunch of dildos.
Fatal Yank. A bunch of dildos.
Like the amount of high pitched cackling from coming from the throats of men in their mid to late 20s in this movie is just awful.
Yeah, mid
It's
to
just
late
awful.
20s is generous.
we talked about the ghoulies talking. This is the first time they wear clothes as well.
Yeah.
And I thought that they looked like they should have been in a Faith No More video. Like off the real thing.
Yeah.
Like they straight up just look like they should be dancing around while the fish flops around.
Oh yeah.
And an eyeball shoots lasers or electric bolts.
Yeah, they were dressed from an after school special 100%.
But I love how they get the clothes. Is like they're Three Stooging their way around this frat house, and they open a closet, which presumably would be filled by clothes that would fit, 18 to 21-year-olds.
18 to 38-year-olds.
Yeah, and there's a clothing avalanche, and then they pop out fully dressed in these clothes that are like there's a football jersey or something. One of them was wearing like a cabbie hat, like what are those called, like the Andy Caps hats?
Yeah.
And they like fit
with a vest.
So where did those come from?
And then the rat one had the like shredded jean jacket, like
yeah,
Joe
he
Perry.
looked rad. Yeah, he was awesome. And one of them had the one shirt was a belly shirt. It was even shorter.
Yeah, Richard Kind had kind of like a Dan Marino off market.
Yeah.
From Bangladesh Dolphins jersey on as a belly shirt.
There was mentioning the Three Stooges. There was a lot of like they were bonking each other's heads together, and I had a note that I watched this with my wife, and I had a note that said, "Second ghoulie head bonk." Erica said, "This rules." Hope she doesn't
That's not what
mind
my
me
wife said.
Hope she
Yeah.
doesn't mind me saying that. But and there's another note where I'll just say it says they open the fridge and there's a shit ton of Miller Lite, and Erica once again said, "This rules."
Yes, 2001 cans of beer in
Yes.
a industrial refrigerator.
2001, as pointed out later, once the Ghoulies have drank all 2001
Oh, man.
beer.
But they stacked them nicely in the corner,
Yeah.
Yeah. They
as
had
the
a little-
special effects could not show them actually throwing them.
Well, what's even stranger is so when they open up the fridge, they're all full, and then they pull the one beer out, and all 2,000 cans topple onto them. And when it shows the pile of cans on top of them, all the cans are crushed and empty.
Yeah.
So it leads me to believe that they didn't drink 2,000 beers. They all just got broken in the fall.
Mm.
But yet you still see the Ghoulies running around acting like kids pretending to be drunk.
Well, how many beers do you think it would take to get a little 2-foot
Demon.
demon drunk?
They are satanic demons.
That's true. Does that factor in their evilness?
If they're otherworldly, I think it's a wild card. I think that's too much unknown in the equation as to how many beers one, I'm assuming 18-inch tall cat similar thing that walks on two legs and wears a Dan Marino belly shirt can drink.
I've got questions that are going to require scientific discovery for this movie, starting with the yank, prank, rank, and
I've got some questions.
how much beer a Ghoulie needs to get drunk.
I'm gonna be brutally honest with you. This is a first movie in 19 weeks. I have not taken many notes on because
That's okay.
I was not having a good time. My last note.
You were already at your
my,
last note.
My second to last note that I wrote. The Ghoulies have said many things and none have been funny.
Oh.
Followed up by, I need subtitles for these Ghoulies on the golf cart. And then it's like scribbled as it writes off the screen, like I was just giving up.
Oh man, that's great. I love when my notes just kind of go into that scribble where you could clearly tell the point, like, I'm fucking done here.
Yeah.
I have enough notes for all three of us, so I got your back, boy.
I too have a question that's going to require some scientific testing.
Is it the sex on exercise equipment?
Well, that's in here. But more importantly than that, who was this movie made for?
Me and Erica.
You and your wife.
Yes.
Apparently.
We both had I'm not saying I liked it or it was a good movie, but I had a fucking blast watching it.
I mean, there was just enough sexual innuendo that it wasn't.
Oh, you mean like
for kids?
Who's the
it
actual
wasn't
target audience?
They clearly have no idea how people in college behave, so it's not for college kids. Who was this?
Yeah.
Who was the target audience of this movie?
Me, I guess.
I guess.
Let's
Get into that exercise bike.
Well, they wanted that lady wanted to have sex on the exercise bike. She wanted to have sex on the treadmill, on the rowing machine.
But she doesn't realize that sex involves taking your clothes off.
Yeah, I don't think you ever see them
fuck for like 30 minutes.
Yeah. Well, I guess that guy is Wes, right? Yeah.
That's Pauly Shore, yeah.
Yeah, I guess that's why they make the joke. They make that joke about, oh, poor Wes, because his girlfriend's a nymphomaniac, and I know I never had sex in my roommate's room in college. Like, you got your own room at the house. Why do you got to go to the exercise room of Skip Carter?
Because she wanted the exercise machines. It was the only way they could go.
I mean, the 80s were a weird time with go have sex on my treadmill or exercise bike.
Yeah. She was getting real revved up over what amounted to nothing more than just some clothes on clothes grinding.
There was a really bad edit. Did you catch it when they fall off the exercise bike onto the bed and then
No.
onto the floor. Oh my God. We rewound it a few times. It was amazing. Not worth really talking about in detail, but just was hoping you guys caught it. It was,
No, I did not.
well, if we watch it again, keep an eye out.
The director of this movie
I
really
got a
put
big laugh.
he really put a lot on the shoulders of Wesley in the first third of this movie.
Yeah, then he just gets it was funny when he gets dragged out of the toilet. His body's all
Yeah, yeah.
bent up and stuffed in the toilet.
I mean, he really had to go for it with his acting, because on set he's not acting with those puppets. He's just that's all
Yeah.
that's just all him acting.
Yeah.
So God bless you, Wesley. You tried hard.
Did you there was a lot of like, I mean, this thing plays out like a cartoon essentially with all the sound effects. Like at one point there's like a slide whistle and all kinds of weird funny noises, but did you notice all the glass shattering sounds?
Uh-huh.
It was very much like Wet Hot American Summer with all the like gratuitous glass shattering.
Sure did.
There's a part I wrote in my notes. My jaw dropped when the rat hits the cat with I just had something in his hand and smacks the cat ghoulie with it. And then like the cartoon stars at
Oh,
the
dude.
Tweety birds. My jaw dropped.
You
to the
have a
floor.
note that says your jaw dropped. Jaw, wow.
Jaw dropped.
Wow, he really does say jaw dropped.
Um,
I not
I
my experience.
every
With
male
joy.
character in this movie behaves like a Batman villain from the 60s TV show.
Yeah.
They're like all like giddy and jumping around and going, "Ooh," and like biting their nails. It's,
Yeah.
oh my God, it's fucking terrible.
I'm glad you brought up the villains because the Jeremy, the guy with the scooter,
I just have him listed as bigger douchebag because the main character I wrote down as douchebag.
yeah, they're all douchebags.
Yeah.
But
So-
Jeremy with the scooter, he should have been the Bradster from Night of the he was the Bradster.
No, he was the anti-Bradster.
But like I thought the first like two scenes he was in, I thought it was Alan Kaiser from he had the same like shitty bleached blonde hair. They also made references to him being a Nazi, like they did to the Bradster.
Yeah.
If you were from another country and grew up on nothing but shitty American cinema, you would have thought in the 80s everyone was at college and grouped into two social groups: the nerds and dweebs frat and the Hitler Youth frat.
Yes.
Because
Yeah.
there's no gray area in between, even though they both seem like the same schmucks.
Mm-hmm. It's a real thin line between the two, especially in this movie.
Yeah, the Skip Carter fraternity at least had some people of different races.
Yeah.
What was the prop gag with the handheld vacuum in bed?
I don't know. These people who made this movie didn't know how to sex.
I didn't understand that.
The
Was
writers of this movie did not know what sex is.
Refresh my memory. Who was using the Dustbuster?
The main guy,
Yeah.
Skip Carter.
Skip.
Yep.
Yeah, he's
With Aaron?
yeah.
I can't remember who the lady was that was in bed with him, but they're like rolling around underneath the blankets, and then all of a sudden they're giggling, and when they come up for air, he's got a fucking cordless vacuum in his hand. And he's just like,
Was it like a joke that he was getting the cobwebs?
No.
oh, I don't know.
No.
Was it a
just-
joke that, oh,
The
sorry,
lice, the
this is
body
not a
lice?
vibrator?
I don't think it was one of his classic yanks. I think he just
I think he just liked to vacuum before sex. Or,
yeah, they were just having Dustbuster play.
But
God.
that
Oh,
wasn't really
God.
the moment that jumped the shark in this movie for me. That kind of the cartoon bomb.
Yes, I wrote Spy versus Spy Bomb.
Jesus Christ!
Comes out with that classic like heavy kettlebell looking Spy versus spy bomb
Like
with
3
a
times.
huge, the huge,
Huge wick on it, and then they
yeah.
light it, and it explodes.
And all it does is do like the Wile E. Coyote to the guy, where his hair's blown back and he's got the.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
And that's where Erica said for a third time, "This rules." She didn't really. That's
She's
just
a big fan.
I'll just we're running up against the clock, but I'll just
Okay.
go through a couple of my, or we can just lightning round, because I think we do have to talk about Kevin McCarthy at length.
Yeah, that's my only notes were really left about.
Not Matthew Lillard or
well, that was
Oh,
one of
but
my
yeah.
notes.
or Barkus talk.
We get a surprise Lillard.
The Lillard verse.
There's a part where the ghoulies are watching the blonde gal dance around in her thong, and one of them says, "Now I've got half a chub," and I really want to see a ghoulie hog. I really
Apparently,
wish we could
it's
see
in
a
their
ghoulie hog.
bodies because they'd never put pants on.
That's true.
That's
They
true.
have little shirts and coats, but no pants. But
That
you
would
don't
be
see
awesome.
the
It
hog.
just showed one of them with like a little Vienna sausage dick as he's like running around.
Oh, and my third note, and then we can get into McCarthy talk, is if one of them's a cat and one's a rat, what's the third one that looks, like Pitbull, like Mr. Worldwide? What's he?
You mean if he's really sick and green?
Yeah.
I'd say he's some kind of lizard.
We need to get to the bottom of this.
If you go back to the first one, he's actually more flesh colored.
Yeah, there's a lot of different ghoulies that didn't show up. Like the second one has like one that looks like a frog, kind of.
Yeah. This one's definitely more reptilian looking in this.
Yeah, this is the one that is normally coming up the toilet and all the.
Yeah, he's kind of the flagship ghoulie, if you will, the one they hang their hat on.
He's the only one I remember because when I saw Rat Face and Cat Face, I was like, why even bother with these?
Well, in Ghoulies too, the cat, like they make the noises of what they're supposed to be. Like the cat one just kind of goes like, and the toad one just kind of or like grunts or whatever. So
I went back. This is my week of comparative analysis, and I went back and watched the first one just to see, like, was the first one good that it needed to have this many sequels? And I made it 42 minutes, and I just turned it off, and I said, I don't care about this movie.
I love Ghoulies 1 and 2.
I do too.
Still stand behind those.
There's a fourth one.
I remember the amusement park or carnival. That's the second one, right?
That's two. Yeah.
I remember that one being better, but after that, I was going to watch all three of them, and I just didn't do it.
The fourth one is bad.
You've seen it?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I have.
Where?
I'm pretty sure it was a rental.
Isn't it just like little people in suits, like, or maybe kids in suits?
My recollection is they're not even that little. The Ghoulies
really?
are almost full-size people.
Wow.
And if I recall, there's only like one or two of them, and the action takes place on a spaceship, even though it's kind of like a direct sequel to the first one.
Wow.
It's bizarre and it's not good.
I have to watch it because I when I saw it, I did a very cursory look to see what it was all about, and the images I saw of it looked like it was either children or little people and like horrible costumes.
Yeah, I mean, granted, my memory's going back a couple decades here, but I remember it being like it makes Ghoulies 3 look like a masterpiece.
Before we get to the break, let's talk about Kevin McCarthy in this movie, because when he first comes in, I was like, holy shit, he's trying to give like a Oscar winning, like he's in fucking Hamlet or Macbeth or something, and then as it goes on, he just goes off the rails.
He's having a blast in this movie.
A very delightful performance, I thought.
It's very delightful. And when he comes at the end, when he becomes Ragnar 2.0, it's fucking wild.
with
That-
the huge ghoulie face sticking out of his stomach.
Yep.
that character design, like everything about this, there's like 1 minute of film with where he comes out in his ultimate form is
Yes.
fucking incredible.
Yes.
And
And-
he's just hamming it up and screaming directly into the camera.
Yeah.
And then
It
it just goes back to being a really shitty movie.
it could like we were saying about Tom Atkins last week with, would it have been the same movie? It still would, like, Night of the Creeps would have been a good movie, but not as good with him. This movie would be unwatchable without Kevin McCarthy's performance
Yeah.
to be the glue. But yeah, like, God bless him. Anybody, I mean, the career he's had, the age he was when he made that, it could have just been like, well, you want me to fucking do what? I
Yeah.
gotta get in this suit and do what? But man, he was having a good time.
With this stupid cardboard crown on his head.
Yeah, the Yanker crown.
Yeah.
That was a performance for sure.
Just
And it really makes the whole movie worth watching. It's kind of like sitting through the whole 5 hours of the Suspiria remake just to see that crazy ending. Ghoulies 3 is worth sitting through just to see Ragnar 2.0.
yeah, just the things he was doing with his face and his teeth in that movie. I've never seen anything like it. And yeah, I've always enjoyed Kevin McCarthy in anything I've seen him in. He's always been great, but this was just another level of holy shit.
Oh yeah.
He took it there.
He was fantastic. And then the movie ends wrapped up with a nice little bow. The crown belongs back with the dork fraternity, and immature shit stain gets the hot girl, and everything's right in Yanker world.
And we get Lillard.
And you get Lillard
Lillard.
as what was his name in this?
Did they say his name?
Scooter
he's
or
credited
something?
as Stork.
Stork. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
And A Star is Born.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just watched this 4 days ago, and I have no idea what the last scene of the movie was. Sorry.
It's pretty
I-
much as I described it.
yeah.
Charles Band and I just walked away and went. We just wiped our hands and said, "You guys just do whatever."
The dork fraternity comes back. They have the crown in hand. They all celebrate. The two buddies make up, and the girl realizes that she can love a dork that likes pranks more than her after all. And
Yeah.
and there you go.
The fake Bradster gets all the damage and stuff pinned on him.
Yep.
And
And Ragnar 2.0 is dead.
and that's Ghoulies 3.
The professor is dead.
The whole school has to close now.
All right, well, let's take a break and we'll come back and we'll get into Vampire Happening.
All right.
Oh, a good movie.
Shut your fucking mouth.
What a foul-smelling bag of puke! Begone!
We're back. And Aaron, you said you had something you wanted to
Yeah.
Bring
So I made the snide comment about basically the unreliable narrator that my in-law family is. And during the break, I go to my wife downstairs and I say, "Hey, what was the deal with your dad running into James Hetfield?" And the very first question she poses back to me is, "What do you mean? Weren't you there?"
Oh no.
So anything and everything happened at this event and in this transaction. But she just remembers him trying to snap a photo and getting evil-eyed, I believe, by the security. So I don't think there was a physical altercation whatsoever.
Oh
No-
yeah. You
no
got
one laid hands.
No. But I was not there, listener. I don't
You
even
were-
remember if we were dating yet at the time that transpired.
You were James Hetfield's bodyguard at
That's
the time.
right. I was on the other side of the equation.
That reminds me, I did want to bring something up that I had touched on last week and wanted to circle back on to not only clarify but confirm. I had said that James Gunn uh, had not only not given credit to Night of the Creeps for being an inspiration on Slither, but I have found an article from Ain't It Cool News saying not only did he not give it credit or anything like that, he claims he has never seen or heard of Night of the Creeps.
No, that's
That
just
cannot
him.
be true. And look, I like James Gunn.
That's him being cheeky.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I like James Gunn a lot. I love Slither, but that's I don't know. I
To
guess you
me,
got to take him at his word, but
they're two different movies that happen to have the same.
don't
It's
think-
like Gremlins and Gremlins 2. Obviously, it's both Joe Dante, but you know, you can do the same shtick. And how many godforsaken Freddy movies are there? You can do the comedy one, you can do the real one, you can do the one in space.
yeah,
Even
but there's a
Critters went to
lot of
space.
similarities between the two.
I-
Enough so that like it is either the biggest coincidence ever or like he's full of shit. And I don't know. I guess I got to
now,
take him at his word. Why would he?
in Slither, I don't remember little people Eddie's putting a tube into a ship and shooting it out. Like that would be to me a 1-for-1.
Well, look, I mean,
This is like Orca versus Jaws. Or
It starts the same
Piranha.
with the shooting star that lands, and then it ends
Rob,
up.
Rob Van Winkle also said that he did not rip off the bass line from Under Pressure, but clearly the two are the same.
Yeah, and I don't know. I'm not
It's
gonna.
not do 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 do. do.
That is burned in my brain. That MTV News with Kurt Loder of Vanilla Ice. No, theirs goes da 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 da. Mine goes
Yeah.
dun 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 dun.
Well, this is James Gunn's version of that, and I'm not here to shit on the man or drag him through them. I'm just clarifying that what I said was correct.
This has
before.
been Jared's.
This is the opposite of the Dunkin' Dough.
This is Jared's dose of Sandy Duncan Double Down.
I'm doubling down. I enjoy both movies, and I love James Gunn. Just say yes. I used it as a big influence,
Mhm.
or don't. But you can't say I've never seen the fucking movie. That's
I mean,
come
he
on.
has to have seen it.
Has to have.
Yeah.
Anyway,
If nothing else, the first time somebody says that to you, like, "Hey, you ripped off this movie," I'd be like, "No, I didn't," but I'd go home and fucking watch it to see what they're talking about.
Yeah. So, I got an email from Blum again.
Oh shit, what's he want?
For some reason, he didn't send it to our bucklepod at gmail.com. He just sent it to me directly. Well, it was.
You were on the private yacht this weekend.
Yeah, I was going to read it, but it turns out it was the same email. He just copied and pasted or did a find replace for Madman, and instead he wants to reboot Vampire Happening, and he wants us to recast it. So we're gonna do that. We're gonna play a little game called Recastration.
Oh no!
And so
Wait, give that title one more go.
Recastration. So you guys have been given homework, and I'm participating in this game as well. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take 7 of the main characters from Vampire Happening, and we're gonna recast it with characters from the movies of what were they? Demon Knight,
Body bags.
Demon
Elves.
Knight, Body Mags, Elves, shoot. I can't.
Jack Frost.
My notes app quit. Jack Frost.
I think that's it.
Night of the Creeps.
That's it.
That seems good.
Is that it? Sorry,
That's
my notes app collapsed on me.
I think there were 5, and I think we've hit them all.
Okay, cool.
Because I was very handcuffed to Demon Knight, Jack Frost, Body Bags, Elves, or Night of the Creeps is what you said.
Okay, great. Thank you. So luckily I have my actual picks written down because now I can't get my App open. So, anyways, what we're gonna do is we're gonna go character by character, and we're gonna each say who we picked, and if we have any in common, that's who we'll go on, and if not, then we'll just have to have a little conversation about it. But remember what our therapist said: no arguing, right,
All right.
guys?
Yep, no
just
arguing.
think of what Lars would do.
That's right.
Sue.
So the first character we have is the double casted Betty and Demont, whatever her name is.
Clara Monde.
Claire Monde. Start with Aaron. Who do you have picked out for that?
Well, off the top, I went with Jill Winthrow from Night of the Creeps as Cynthia.
Okay, good pick. Good pick.
Felt like she could give enough of the girl next door, even though Betty Williams is not the girl next door since she's a Hollywood actor, as well as play a undead Countess Clara Monde.
All right, I'm down with that. Josh, who did you pick?
I think that there's only one actor out of all these films that you gave us the choice of that could handle the heavy lifting of carrying out two very different and very challenging roles, such as Betty and her slutty grandmother. That's Jennifer Runyon.
Oh, okay. I went with Shannon Elizabeth from
Wait a
Jack
second.
Frost.
Jennifer Runyon's in To
Oh,
All
wait,
a Good
she's
Night.
in To All a Good
Oh,
Night.
did I mess up already?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry.
All right. Then I choose hold on here.
It's
John
okay.
Carpenter.
Mistakes are okay.
I'll choose John Carpenter in the role of Betty.
All right. Well, I had Shannon Elizabeth.
All right.
So who of our three picks would be better?
Shannon Elizabeth.
Yeah, from Jack Frost. You got to have someone who's going to be willing to show her boobies.
So you're going to have Shannon Elizabeth just be her normal American accent, and then Shannon Elizabeth using her terrible, nondescript,
But it could all
somewhat
be
European accent.
Yeah,
It's
she's
as
already
bad as
done
your
it.
Jeepers Creepers accent.
Jeepers Creepers. Yeah, or we could just have them overdub it.
No,
Like
it's Shannon Elizabeth.
Yeah.
we're going with
I'll go
Shannon Elizabeth.
Yes.
Since it seems like John Carpenter's not even part of the discussion.
Oh yeah, John Carpenter would make a good Betty.
I would not want to see his breasts, so I'm
I think that'd be amazing.
all right, next we have
Could you imagine the oil painting of him hanging in the
It would be his balls hanging past his knees.
with his
Underneath
I'm
that
not
red
gonna-
rose.
It's gonna get gross with it, but I'm not. About
on the man's birthday weekend?
True.
Yeah. Happy
HBD.
birthday.
I was gonna talk about his wispy head hair and if it maybe, if the if the drapes match the the carpet matches the drapes.
Oh.
All right, next up
He could still show up somewhere in this cast list.
That's true. Let's see. Next we have Thomas, the
Heartthrob.
the heartthrob love
Mhm.
interest character. Josh, who do you have for Thomas?
Mark Hamill.
Okay, I like that. All right. Then what about you, Aaron?
Mark Hamill.
You have Mark Hamill. You know
I
what?
have Mark Hamill down because the man is willing to do sex scenes, which that's all Thomas does besides try to ride a motorcycle.
Yep.
I had Mark Hamill. I crossed him out and wrote Tom Atkins.
Oh.
No.
But we got 2 out of 3, so Hamill has it.
Yep.
Hamill, you're cast. Congratulations. So
I
we
think
got-
Tom Atkins, he tries out for the role, but I think Hamill's youth, even though they're probably the same age, I think Hamill's youth wins it out.
Hamill has got to be like 10 years younger.
I would say Atkins has him by at
Pittsburgh
least a decade. Yeah. Now we have Josh's favorite character, Marble Mouth Joseph.
Mm-hmm.
I'll start with my pick. I've got Dick Miller in the Joseph role.
I also have Dick Miller.
I
Whoa!
had put Tom Atkins in as Joseph.
Oh, okay. All right.
I wanted to transform the most unlikable character out of all the movies we watched into something that I could enjoy, so I chose Dick Miller.
Guys, this cast is shaping up. I think we're gonna have a green light. Next, we have Missy, the stern headmistress of the school, the private school that they're at. Aaron, who do you have for Missy?
I have Jada Pinkett Smith. Are they still married?
It's fluid. Who knows anymore?
Yeah, I had her for that part.
I think they're married for the cameras, but probably fucking hate each other. Conjecture.
It's a cuck relationship, anyways.
Jeez. Conjecture.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. All right, so you got Jada. Who do you have, Josh?
I don't remember the actor's name, but the woman that we affectionately referred to as Marcy Darcy from Jack Frost.
Okay. Well, we're gonna have to
Yeah, Marla.
Marla.
Yes.
Yeah. We're gonna have to have a discussion here because I've got CCH Pounder from Demon Knight.
Oh, that's another good choice.
Oh, yeah.
I just thought,
CCH.
what's a woman that could pull off being hated enough to for that role? And Marcy Darcy came to mind.
That's not a bad. I like all these picks.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like CCH could be like real authoritative though, and
Oh yeah, she would definitely. She'd be a scene chewer.
so we're going with that.
She might be too powerful for the role.
Yeah, I you got to go with a pushover, and I think Marla is more of a real pushover when it comes to brass tacks.
All right, so we're just gonna call her Marla, Marcy Darcy. Next we have Martin, the lovable monk,
Lovable.
the lovable horny monk.
Mhm.
Josh, we'll start with you.
I wrote down Charles Flesher, who played Wally in Demon Knight.
Okay. That's a great pick. That's where I have John Carpenter.
Oh,
I have
you could probably
Scott.
ham that one up, yeah.
I got Scott McDonald for Brother Martin
Oh, damn.
because of all the one-liners.
These
Wow.
are great. These are great.
Brother Martin might be like the new Hamlet.
Yeah. Just put your own spin on it.
Yeah.
I don't it's a toss up between your guys' picks. They're both great. Maybe we do like we did with Madman where we just leave it up for
Wait, we said
Bloom to decide.
Josh said Carpenter.
No, Josh said Wally. What's his name?
Oh yeah.
I love you, Clay, or whatever her name was.
Yeah.
What if we had a dual casting where before transformation into a vampire, you have Wally as the regular brother.
Okay.
And then after the transformation,
he becomes Scott McDonald.
He becomes Scott McDonald with big fangs and a lot of one-liners.
I like it. Okay.
I love it. All right. Now we have Dracula. And I'll start with this one. I've got Zane as Dracula.
Oh.
The Zane train, Billy Zane.
That's definitely a different vision.
Yeah. that's you're trying to make it too dark and mysterious and brooding. You don't need that in vampire happening.
This is where I thought a Tom Atkins could really shine.
Okay.
I adjacent to that on a parallel track, I said Stacy Keach from Body Bags.
Yeah.
Shit.
Because we know that he loves wigs. He will do wig work. And he's got the chops to do the hammy Dracula.
But who's going to look cooler throwing the devil horns in the air?
That's true. That's true.
Let's see. Your uncle or your other uncle and Stacy Keach or Tom Atkins.
Also, who's going to pull off a scene where they're basically being tickled by 4 vampire women for 30 minutes?
That's true. That's got Atkins all over it.
I don't know, your uncle or your other uncle.
Yeah, that's a close call.
If it were Atkins, it'd be like 3 18-year-old girls that would be in his contract.
Allegedly.
Conjecture.
I'm not saying he himself is that way. I'm saying in all his movies, that just seems to be the status quo. I kind of like. I don't know. I kind of like Atkins.
All right.
Okay.
What do you guys? You good with Atkins?
I'm good with Atkins.
I'm good with Atkins.
And the last one is Handyman. Don't know his actual name. Go ahead, Aaron. Who's your pick for the Handyman?
Well, you know who I went with.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I bet I could guess.
Of course, listener and fellow Haggertyites out there.
Fuck.
Dan Haggerty as the handyman.
Oh, hands
Plumber.
down. I Dan Haggerty all the way.
Well, I didn't have him because I didn't have him in any of mine. I had Alan Kaiser, the Bradster, as the handyman, just because
that's weak sauce.
just because I want Bradster to get some work because he's awesome.
I want Dan Haggerty laying that tile for the tub.
Well, it's 2 out of 3 anyway, so it's Haggerty.
Yep.
And that's our cast. We've got, let's break it down. We've got as Betty, we got Shannon Elizabeth. As Thomas, we've got Mark Hamill. As Joseph, Dick Miller. As Missy, playing Missy is Marla Darcy. Martin is going to be played by both Charles Fleischer and Scott McDonald.
Just a wild casting decision.
Pre-turn and post-turn. Dracula is Tom Atkins, and Handyman is Dan Haggerty. What a cast!
We got a hit on our hands.
I can't wait to see all that collage you're going to put together for Blue Sky.
If I knew how to do anything in Illustrator or Photoshop, I would do that.
Send me the list. I'll see what I can do.
All right, you just
because
you're on the record.
I was part of it, and I didn't pay attention to it enough to sink it to memory.
Well, I'm hoping this is a majority of our conversation about Vampire Happening, because I don't have a lot to say about this for a 4th time. There's only so much blood you can squeeze out of this stone. Do you guys want to jump in? Oh, and that was recastration. Thank you for playing.
You gotta say it.
Recastration.
Say it. Okay.
We'll try again.
Recastration.
Why?
What if you did castration?
Recastration.
No. Castration.
Castration.
There you go.
Now all together.
Recastration.
No, you
Damn
gotta
it.
have the, you gotta do that pause.
I think the emphasis should be on the cast. It's recastration.
Yes, but with a little pause between and cast.
Recastration.
There we go.
There we go.
Glad that we workshopped that on the air.
Hold on. Let me try one more time. Recastration.
No. Now you sound like Transform Man William Shatner.
Oh man,
I'm just stalling because
no. Well, listen. So I said earlier I was doing comparison week here on my corner of Eat the Buckle, or on my part of the triad of Eat the Buckle. So this week I tried watching Ghoulies. I made it 42 minutes and I turned it off. Didn't go to the second one, but just this morning, listener, I turned on The Fearless Vampire Hunters by Roman Polanski, which has been called out as the good version of what The Vampire Happening was trying to be.
Now, hold on. Who's calling that out?
It's
I don't mean to step on you here.
Well,
is there actual people saying
somewhere along the line of doing somewhere along the line of doing, it's on Wikipedia actually.
I'm just fucking with it. Go ahead.
But I like to give my footnotes.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, so somebody I can't remember who actually was doing it was from some book. Look it up on Wikipedia for Vampire Happening, and it'll give you the notes at the bottom of the page. Regardless, yeah, um, the Fearless Vampire Killers came out in 1967. Do you want to know who played Count von Kroglock
Sure.
instead of Dracula? It was your and mine favorite Ferdy Main.
Whoa.
Same
Wow.
guy. So
No.
for a while, if you needed a Dracula, you just called up old Freddy.
Oh,
Ferdy,
little
I
Ferdy
mean.
Main.
Ferdy
Now,
Main.
Wait, you mean if you needed a Dracula and it was a movie Christopher Lee refused to appear in?
Yeah, that's right. What's
What?
wild is he actually is a good vampire. Like when he's not hamming it up
I
in the
think he's
grease paint.
I think he's great in this movie.
He loves to be tickled.
He is in the movie, yes. But I would have to say
He loves to be tickled. So wait, I'm sorry. What year did you say this movie came out?
the Fearless Vampire Killers came out in 67.
So predating Rosemary's
So
Baby.
it predates Rosemary. It predates Vampire Happening by, I don't know,
So
4 years.
I wonder if that was a little inside joke with the Rosemary's Baby because he was both Dracula's.
The Rosemary's Baby blood.
Yeah.
Make it a large.
It could have been. But no, whoever said that in that book about 101 vampire movies is correct. The Fearless Vampire Killers, or pardon me, but your teeth are in my neck, is a better movie than
You watch this.
I watched it today.
Is it a comedy?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's a comedy.
Polanski.
Roman Polanski stars in it.
So before he
good.
was problematic.
Before, yes, this is.
I mean, he was probably doing problematic things, but before the world at large knew.
before
Sharon Tate in this?
Sharon Tate plays Sarah in it. Yeah,
Huh. I've
It-
never heard of this.
yeah. Jack McGowan is in it as the professor, like Van Helsing, basically.
Is it a sex romp?
Not there are no boobs.
Okay.
So if you wanted to see
strike two.
yeah, I know how much you turn into Vampire Happening just to see Pia's boobs every week, but yeah, no, there were not even one butt cheek
You
to
know,
be had.
speaking of, sorry, were you still going on about your comparison?
He's still gone on about
Yeah,
this
I'm
shit.
still going on. Now, the one thing I will say,
My bad. I didn't mean it like that. I was just about to, I was about to interject.
Remember-
I'll hold off.
Remember our Metallica training.
I am going to put a bow on Fearless Vampire Killers because
I
they
didn't mean
have.
like that.
Well, no. I'm trying.
He's
I'm
still
trying to get.
prattling on.
I'm trying to get to the.
The fuck are we talking about?
Now, where Vampire Happening is better than the Fearless Vampire Killers is that Vampire Happening doesn't have Cuckoo the Servant in it, who is a hunchback servant who looks like Jerry Lewis with the bowl cut and not the Nutty Professor. Or no, it was the Nutty Professor where he had the big horse teeth put in with one big Mickey Mouse shoe and one regular shoe. And I said,
boy.
you know what, Roman, that's a little that's a little too much.
Made you pine for the days of Joseph, the
Yeah.
the butler.
and Ronald Lacey, who you might know from Raiders of the Lost Ark as the fish-faced Nazi, he played the village idiot.
Oh, all
Okay.
right.
So I would actually recommend it. If you decide to go down this road of watching the Vampire Happening, you might just go ahead and tune in as well to the Fearless Vampire Killers, or pardon me, but your teeth are in my neck, to see how MGM does it.
But
All right.
dedicated listener, I beg you, do not watch Vampire Happening.
Give it a watch. Give it a watch. You'll have fun with it.
So you have
Uh,
no notes this week,
Me?
Who? Me?
either of you, for Vampire Happening?
I didn't take them, but I can talk about it.
I've got a few. I did notice the wild and titillating party that happens at the end of the film. There's really, we first we're talking about how wild it was and how there's like naked women everywhere, but really when you watch it, there's only like two actresses that show their topless in that scene.
Mm-hmm.
One of them is the bartender slash server girl that's running through rampant through every scene in the movie, and then there's like one other girl, but that's really like the only two topless females in it. So it's not really the wild, crazy party it appears at first. They just have two naked women and a bunch of people in purple tuxedos.
It is a much
playing.
more happening party in the Vampire Happening than in the Fearless Vampire Killers when they have the midnight ball at the end of that movie.
Oh, okay.
Where they do nothing but just old Victoria time parlor dance.
Oh,
why?
And full Victorian outfits.
So it's more akin to the times.
Yeah, like, actual old vampires still doing old vampire things versus having a zoot suit. Well, no, one zoot suit.
Instead of having an Austin Powers party.
Yeah, instead of Jefferson Airplane showing up.
Why at the end, the very end, are they about to put a stake through who they think is Betty's heart? Because they don't think she's a vampire.
No, they think she's been turned into a vampire.
But okay, so with that knowledge, then they just are like, well, we'll just send her to California and
let them deal with it.
Let them deal with it.
That's what so many
they're
questions.
like, they'll make a shrine to her and they'll love her there, and like,
yeah.
So what? You're just sending her off to? Okay.
So yeah, there's the scene where during the party, Betty and her grandmother meet, and they have their little chat and they kind of unite.
Mm-hmm.
So why? What happens after that? I don't understand. Like,
all right, so we're talking at the happening.
Yeah.
Where Miss Nelson, yeah, it's Nelson, accuses correctly that Betty doesn't have teeth in her head.
Yes.
They go to the costume room
because she doesn't want to have sex with a lady.
This all is clear. What I mean is, so they help each other out. Grandma helps Betty. Saves the day for them. Then the sun comes up, sends the vampires running. Dracula leaves in his helicopter. The day is saved. So why can't Betty just remain?
I don't know.
Betty gets locked in the closet. So then after all the vampires get turned to dust or skeletons, then Betty goes on foot or steals a car or a bike and goes back to her keep.
And Delamonde, I think it's
somehow wait, hold on. Somehow knows that they are at the airport.
Yeah.
Because I guess maybe Joseph left a note. So she's now made her way. She's gone home finally after, we'll say, a couple hours have passed. Has a shower or a soak in the new tub. Then decides, oh, I need to go. Again, there's only one car in the entire movie at their house, which is now at the airport. But she manages to figure out that they have gone to the airport and then meets them as the Christmas music kicks in.
So do they know that they're sending Grandma off to America?
No. Again, it's another switcheroo.
So what do they think happened to her?
That she got turned into a vampire at the party.
What Delamonde, what do they think happened to her?
That they think she got blown up by the sun like the other ones.
Yeah.
But I see what you're getting at. Is like, And somehow Delamonde had the foresight, the wherewithal to like just assume that she's gonna hide in the trunk, and then she thought, so they're gonna think I'm Betty, and they're going to not kill me and send me to California where I can start my new.
Yeah.
Which, lucky for her, is exactly what happened. Which is a big leap in logic for.
And
the
why do
writers.
if they think that
Why
do they-
does the 200-year-old vampire know how to drive stick?
Why did all the vampires come running out of the house once they knew the sun was coming up instead of just staying in the house until
Man,
it got dark again?
I tell you, would have been a
Fucking each other
much-
for another 12 hours?
wouldn't have been a much better ending if you saw Dracula's helicopter rising to escape the sun when it's actually flying towards the sun and then it just explodes into a fireball.
It would be better if it just turned into dust and like you
Yeah.
just saw 4 skeletons fall.
Yeah, or you just see like all of a sudden like you see like the windows blow out and the helicopter just falls out of the sky. Like just give me something. Like
Any of those options would have been a better ending than what we got. Yes.
I would like
make
I
the
would like
notes for the sequel. the remake.
I'll send these notes to Blah. Well, he'll be listening. He'll hear
That's
our notes.
true. That's
Can,
hi, Jason.
can we shine a light? This is what I wanted to do this week in Vampire Happening Corner. I want to shine a light on a person that gets really short shafted in the movie, and that's Mr. Larson, who we really don't know his name.
The handyman.
No, exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Wait,
He's involved. He's the pretty boy, lover boy.
Thomas.
Whatever we know. Is it Thomas? That's the actor's name, isn't it?
Mark. We'll call him Mark Hamill because
Yeah.
that's who we have playing.
Who we just
yeah. So Mark Hamill.
Yeah, Thomas Hunter is who you're talking about. That's the actual actor's name. It's Jens Larson is the character.
Okay.
Anyway, at the end, Josh, when he puts Joseph on the motorcycle,
Wait, why just Josh?
because this is Joseph adjacent.
Okay. Uh-huh.
But to both of you. Number one, I don't think he knows how to drive a motorcycle because he gets all ducked out in that sweet Sherpa coat, which we're in week 4 and we haven't talked about the Sherpa coat on Jansen. He's got a sweet driver's coat.
Well, save it for the next time.
He fires up the motorcycle. Freddie Francis cuts because he can't get Thomas Hunter to drive at 20 feet. Okay. Then when they show him and Joseph riding the motorcycle through the woods,
I fucking love it when they're on the motorcycle together.
He's not even, he has his feet out. Like he's like, he's got his feet out on the side.
Like he's a child riding a bike without training wheels for the first time.
He's got his feet out. The bike is not on. I don't even think the headlamp is on. And then they stop. They basically have them roll down a 5-foot tall hill on a gentle slope with his feet out, stop on point, have their talkie scene, and then cut to them being in the castle.
Yeah.
Plus, Larson invented the foam party.
Yeah.
For some reason, he decides to shoot
love that foam,
that fire extinguisher at the vampires. And then they suddenly go, "Oh, you invented the foam party." Not really, but
in Bloom's version, they will.
Yeah, there will be a giant foam party at the Vampire Happening. But I felt like we'd shortchain Thomas Hunter a little bit in the previous discussions.
He's something.
But I want to really know whether or not he knew how the hell to drive a motorcycle, because I don't think he does in this movie.
We'll have to find out who's still kicking from this production and email them, get some answers. I
think we already tried that.
Thomas Hunter is dead. He died in 2017 at the age of 85.
Please don't say from a motorcycle accident.
He died in Connecticut.
He was hit by a motorcyclist.
It's undisclosed.
Okay.
Plus, that guy had maybe he got hit by Dracula's helicopter.
It got happening.
He got Twilight Zoned by the helicopter. Uh, some more tidbits about Thomas Hunter was that he was a giant spaghetti cowboy,
oh,
spaghetti
spaghetti
western.
westerns.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
Anything good?
stuff that you'd know, but nothing great.
Yeah.
And then he also wrote the Final Countdown.
All right.
The song?
No,
Yeah.
the movie.
Oh, it's like the
Sorry.
Foreigner? Is that Foreigner? Who is
I think.
that?
I thought that was Journey. No.
I don't know,
We'll
but
figure it out.
yeah, we'll figure it
And we'll
out
come back.
on the break, and we'll come back and put a bow on this episode and figure out who we're going up against next week.
All right.
She even seduced novices.
Right on, Grandma.
All right, so let's go ahead and we'll do our 1, 2, 3 and pick our loser. And then we'll defend our picks, and then we'll
Or do we defend our picks and then pick?
let's
I always wonder, like, should we just do closing arguments and then
What's the point in defending your pick if it's already decided?
we can do whatever. I just feel like, but it adds a
whatever the
little more.
therapist wants?
I feel like it adds a little more drama to it.
I'm not trying to argue, fellas.
No. I just feel like it
I
adds.
don't want this to be an argument.
We
the
could do whatever.
The logic to me would be that we do closing arguments in a round table and then do it, so that we kind of give our closing thoughts. That's
fine to me, but I feel like that if we do that, then by the time we pick, there's no drama because we'll basically have already said who we're picking, and then that's fine, whatever.
Okay, well, let's do it your way this week and see how it feels.
Are you still going on about this?
We'll do it your way.
And
again,
explain to me how this works again.
The loser is who when we say 1, 2, 3, shoot, is the loser
stays in
the ring, and we will be forced to watch repeatedly.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So
and that's the one we like the best, right?
No.
Shut up.
The loser.
All right.
Is
ready?
The loser.
1, 2, 3.
Vampire
happening.
I didn't know what was going on.
Jesus Christ.
All right.
All right. Yeah. So
1, 2, 3.
Vampire
happening.
Okay.
We did it.
Hey.
Yeah. I mean, I think both were really bad. I had fun. Clearly, you could hear the joy in me talking about Ghoulies 3, especially the Super McCarthy that comes out at the end, the Voltron McCarthy Ghoulie. That sealed it for. If not for that, it would have been a lot closer for me. But that really just kind of put it over the edge. What about you guys?
Yeah, I'd have to agree. Ghoulies 3 is not a good movie, and I really didn't enjoy watching probably about an hour and 30 minutes of an hour and 35-minute long movie. But as you said, McCarthy 2.0 saves the day. And I think maybe just a little bit of nostalgia, since I don't know how many times I watched this movie as a youth. Or how much of my parents' money we wasted renting it from the video store and then not returning it on time. But Vampire Happening's still a piece of shit, and I find no joy or entertainment in watching it. And unfortunately, that means probably not to watch it again.
Yeah, I have to say I'm surprised you picked Vampire. I thought for sure you would have gone Ghoulies 3, but go ahead and defend yourself.
Who, me?
Yeah.
Oh, well, here's the thing. Vampire Happening is gonna lose most weeks it goes up against another movie. I happen to like Vampire Happening a little bit still, but there's not going to be any Stockholm Syndrome. And any other week, Ghoulies 3 is as bad as Cheerleader Camp. to me.
Yeah.
It had all the same beats, all the same hits, just didn't have Kevin McCarthy in it. But yeah, Ghoulies 3 is not a good movie.
Mm-mm.
I'm sorry if it's your favorite movie. But man, to me it was way closer than most weeks on this show. Just because there was enough to say, hey, you're a little bit more competent than
Yeah.
what shows up on the screen with Vampire happening.
Yeah.
With all 360p glory.
And it's an hour and 42 bit. It is one of the longer movies that we
Yeah.
subjected ourselves
I
to.
think it's the
Yeah.
longest one we've done.
It could have
And
been about an hour long, but they had to throw that party onto it.
and yeah, it's rough stuff
It's
Yeah.
that
Well,
we're gonna watch again for another week.
yeah, we'll see who it goes up against. This will be a lot of pressure on it because if Vampire Happening loses one more time, you know where it's going, baby. And it's going up against number dos.
Number 2 is me. Oh boy, a movie that I have waited with bated breath for months to subject you guys to.
Could
It
it
is
could it unseed?
it is some point in the 70s, The Incredible Melting Man.
oh,
The Incredible Melting Man versus Vampire Happening.
this is monumental. This is the first time that Aaron's picks are going up against each other.
This is one side of my brain versus the other side of my brain.
And we're all fucked. This could, I mean, I don't know anything about the movie, but could it unseed Vampire Happening? We'll find out.
God, I
We'll
hope
find
so.
out.
I hope so. I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait to watch it.
And I think it's in 4K, my copy.
Oh, you own it.
I actually bought it. Yeah, I don't remember if it
Now-
was Kino or.
Have you seen it before?
Oh yeah, it was on a Mystery
Oh,
Science
okay.
Theater.
Okay, so you know what you're getting into.
I know 100%, just like I knew with Vampire Happening. These
You son of a
this
bitch.
this round of movies that I picked were for this podcast after we had enough water underneath of us to know what we were getting into. Instead of doing like the hey, I haven't seen Night of the Creeps for a while or Event Horizon, let's just watch them. No, this is pain on the TV.
Love it. Well, hey, listeners, if you're out there listening to us, whatever streaming service you're using, just go ahead and, like it, download it, subscribe, whatever you do to show us that you're enjoying it. Let us know that it's worthwhile for us to put ourselves through this misery. Send us a question at bucklepod@gmail.com. Or, if you have any suggestions on how we should handle the ending of the show. Should it be 1, 2, 3 shoot, or should we talk about it first? Let us know what you think. And check us out on Blue Sky at BucklePod Blue Sky for, all that stuff.
And I will be starting a GoFundMe for my therapy that I've had to go into thanks to the show.
Save room for next week because you're going to eat the buckle.
Bye, Buckle Buddies.
Bye bye.
She was a new hire.